Hello everyone, Lots here, and today guys I'm going to review a set released in 2001 from the theme Life on Mars, and it's called the Recon Mech RP. So Life on Mars 1 was one of the original space theme from Lego, so not Star Wars of course, and yes, it was in 2001 and it can be considered as the ancestor of the Mars mission theme. That side, you can see the Recon Mech RP is a mecha. So here's the box, of course, with the orange-ish background. On the top part, you can see a picture of the alien, which is included in his name, so Antares, right there. Then on the back of the box, it's quite simple. It shows you that the set can be divided in three parts, as you can see, one here, and there. And this part can be put in a different order to make a second mode, kind of a flight mode and the mecha mode right here. So, of course, we're gonna see that in the review itself. On this side, you have another picture of the alien. And then, right here, you got a picture of the claw, which we're gonna see in the review itself, and no alternative model shown on this box. Then let's move on to excuse me. Everything's falling off, guys. Sorry, excuse me. So moving on with the instruction booklet, right here. So nothing really to talk about. Nice background, as you can see. Then you're gonna have some picture of the real set and then some more steps to show you how to transform this set from mecha mode to the flight mode right there. And then they show you that thanks to this part system you can in fact attach the part from this mecha to other sets part, like for example this space shuttle or this excavation searcher right there. So as you can see, you can make some kind of combiner model with just the parts without destroying the set itself. And then all the 8 sets of this theme, well, not counting the promotional sets. And I think that's all. So of course, if you want to see them, you can go to a brick set. That said, let's move on to the set itself with first the minifix, so the little alien. So as you can see, the body and arms are the same as the one used by the Star Wars droid, so nothing really new right here. The new parts on the legs on the other hand is a new part, but like the Star Wars droid is still one part for the two legs, so the two legs are molded in one part, as you can see. And then you got the unique end mold plus some unique prints, so Antares, which looks quite asleep, I have to admit, quite weird. And well, it's still quite nice, of course, white and some, I guess it might be teal green, yes, teal green, the second color. So in terms of articulation, each arm's got 1 point of articulation, of course. The two legs got 1 point of articulation, but for the two legs, because, like I said, there is one mold for the two legs, and then one last point of rotation for the head, and one stud on his on the front of his body. And I think that's all. Just let me check something, excuse me. No, yeah, it's okay. So let's move on to the mecha now, the Recon Mech. So first, the body and the frame. So as you can see, we're gonna use a plate, and then there's two kind of specialized parts with some slop parts, as you can see. And so we're gonna have the frame. Now we just have to link some more plates, like for example, this red one or this dark gray one. We're gonna link this part, which will be useful to close the cockpit glass, yes. Then you got the control panel with some nice printed parts. So two things to notice. First is that there is no stickers in this set. All the parts are printed, so that's quite nice. And then the color scheme. So you're gonna have many colors: light gray, or dark gray. So the one from before 2004, red, and sand red, which is this color, which is quite a specific color. So it's called red. Excuse me, it's called sand red. it's called sound red, excuse me, yes, and I think that's quite odd. You're gonna have some blacks and some other colors, little more specific, but in fact, that's all for now. Notice the sloped bricks right there, some bricks here, and then also notice this brick, which will be useful to link the container on the back. That said, let's move on to the arms, which looks like that. So here is the left arm. So this part here is quite useful to link the arms to the body frame. And then one really important part is this hinge part, you can see, which of course can be turned this way, which will be quite useful, of course, to link the arm. So the arm, then, well, you're gonna have some more hinge parts all over the place to make the frame of the skeleton, if I can say so, of the arm. And of course, we're gonna cover this frame parts with some bricks. So for example, this one with some nice shape, which can be also found right here. Some trans blue parts, and this hose pipe, which will be linked right here and there. Some nice printed part here, and I think that's all. And finally, you're gonna have the claw, which is linked on once again another hinge, and well, the claw is, as you can see, got some rubber bands, so it will be able to close itself really easily. And that said, I think that's all. So let's move on to the second arm, which is the same in terms of design, except for the claw, which is here, replaced with some type of laser or some type of gun, which is really not really well made, I have to admit, because it's just a technique axle. We're gonna then link this red part to cover the axles and link this trans yellow part, then some of this rounded shape part, a little flame, and that's all. So it's not really a beautiful laser, I have to admit. It could have been done better. That said, let's move on. So I'm going to link this part right there, like that. And no, I just have to link one last part. It's the cockpit glass, so you can see linked on some more hinge part right there. Nice glass once again, and it will be linked right here. And like I said, it closes on this part right here. So quite nice. So that's the top part of the mechanic, if I can say so. So all the body plus well, the body, which is the cockpit, and the two arms. So let's move on to the bottom part, so the legs. So the frame is quite simple. We're gonna use, well, these two bricks with pinholes, which of course will be useful to attach or detach this part to other parts. Really simple things to understand. And then we're gonna link the legs themselves. So once again, we're gonna find this red hinge parts, which are quite useful. And then once again, it's the same. So light gray hinge parts used to make the frame of the leg, as you can see right here. Then we're gonna cover this part with some well, other pieces like this little grid or this specific part. Notice once again the nice printed part here. Also all the slope bricks here and there, which really gives a nice design to the overall leg. So it's really even if it's just some slope bricks, I think it works quite well. And finally, you're gonna have the foot, which is made, as you can see, with some big dark gray part and then some other little parts. Once again, notice the slope brick with a print on it, quite nice, and can be quite useful for mockers. And that's quite all. Notice the studless part right here, and that's all. So I'm going to link these two ones here. So of course the two legs are the same in terms of design. And oh, excuse me. And then I'm going to link this part on the top. So with this pin right here, which will be useful to link the top part. But I'm not going to link this part now, because there is one last part to review. It's the container part, which will be linked on the back. So as you can see, thanks to this part with pinholes, and you can also see this part with pins right right here, which will be useful for the flight mode. You can also see this part with some little clip directly molded into the brick, which will be useful to put this part right there. Then two big cylindrical parts, and once again another printed part. And that said, well, let's link everything together. So first, these two parts, right here, and then thanks to the hole in there, I'm going to be able to link these two parts together. And here we go. So I'm going to add some more books, so you will be able to, yes, to have a nice shot at this mecha. So here is the comparison size between the alien and the mecha. And then I'm going to do a little turnaround. Oh yes, excuse me, I'm going to maybe put it like that. I do not know if I have talked about that, but notice that on the side you have two clips which hold two guns, so one which is all trans yellow or transparent green, I'm not really sure, and it's quite beautiful. The other one is a little more simpler, as you can see. And that said, let's move on to the articulation. So of course, the cockpit can be opened and closed. This part can be put like that, so it will be quite useful to move this part up and down to in fact link the alien. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the cockpit. Of course, you can put off these weapons if you want to. Then the arms, well, you got this point of rotation right here. So of course here it's blocked because of the corner, but normally it can go all the way back. So it's really a useful point of articulation. And then on this arm, you got two more points of rotation. One here and one there, so you can do stuff like that if you want. There is no problem with the hose pipe. So sometimes mine is quite old, so of course sometimes it will fall off, but normally there is no problems and you can move this up or down without problems. Those pipes will not block the movement of the arm. So you got the same articulation on this arm, except that you got one more right here, which is useful if you want to put up or down the claw itself. And then of course you can close or open, well, you can open or close the claw, and it will close itself thanks to the elastic, the rubber band, so it works just great. Then of course, thanks to the point of connection here, this means the top part can turn, so it's really a nice point of rotation, because well, you can really have it's allows this mecha to be a little less blocky, because as you can see, the legs are not really well articulated. So of course you still got the hinge, which can which means you can open the legs like that. But apart from that, the articulations on the legs are really useful to make the second mode, because of course, as you can notice, you can move this part like that and this part like that, but you can't move the legs on the leg on the back. So of course you will not be able to make some one pose or some walk pose, because well, you can do this type of stuff, but that's all. In fact, you can't do that much with this type of articulation. As you can see, it looks quite strange, and it seems it's going to fall down. So you can't make that much pose with the legs, except for the second mode, which I'm going to show you right now. So yeah, of course, my hinges are quite a little tired, so of course they're supposed to stay like that, but with all the years now they kind of fall back automatically. So that's why the mecha is not like that. But at the time when you bought the set, it was really strong articulations. But that's one. But I've quite played with it tons of times. So of course it's normal. It's quite used. So It's really simple. In fact, I just have to cut off the legs, then move them like that, link this part to this one, the light gray one, and then I just have to move the articulations like that. And here we go. I'm in what I called myself the flight mode. I'm not sure there is an official name for this mode, but well, I don't think there is tons of water on Mars, so I guess even if it looks like kind of a little swimming mode, I think well, it can't really do that on Mars. But hey, I'm not sure. I'm not a space expert. So I think that's all. So now I'm just going to do a sum up about this set. So, but first I'm going of course to put it in back in his mecha form. Mecha mode, create whatever you want. So first, the color scheme. So there is many colors in this set. Like that. Many colors in this set, but most of all shares the same type of shades, in fact, if I can say so, because well, the light gray is close to the sun red, the sun red is close to the red, which is closed, which these two colors are kind of close to the dark gray, so most of the colors mix pretty well. So even if there's tons of color, I think at least they are pretty original and they work quite nice together. So might still be too much colors for some people, I think, but for me, I think that they work quite nice together. But well, that's just my opinion, so you might have another one. Then you got the part selection, so I think it's a great, you got really great parts in this set because you got really some unique printed parts, so like this ones here, there, or the slope bricks. You got also some nice specific parts like the glass, the claw, the gun, which is all in the trans color, so it can be quite useful, the hose pipe, this the cylindrical part, and then you also got the part in Soundweb. And even if I'm not really an expert in Lego parts, I think that this color might be quite rare, so not have been really produced tons of times. So I think that it's really, in terms of part selection, you got many little interesting parts in this set. Then you got the construction, so well, there is nothing really to talk about. You build this guy in different parts. As you can see, most of the arms and legs are mostly hinges parts with pieces over to, of course, cover this hinges part. So, well, it's not maybe the most impressive set in terms of construction ever made, but at least I think it works. And well, it's at least when it was first released in 2001, there are not that tons of mecha. Of course, Exoforce wouldn't be released before 2006, so well, it was quite unique at the time, even if there were some other mecha sets with before, but still. And well, that's nice because when you build a mecha, of course, it's not the same as building a base or a car or a plane, a boat. So well, it's quite interesting in that sense, but overall, it's not that impressive. But at least all the parts works pretty well, and all the parts hold in a quite in a nice way. Then you got the articulations, so I really like these hinges on both the arms and legs, which work just fine. The only complaint I have with this set is that you can't move, of course, the legs on the back, so this means it's quite limited in terms of articulation, and of course you can't also move the arms on the side. You can't really turn them like that on the side, so of course at the time there was not that tons of articulated parts, so of course it's quite normal, if I can say so. It's quite okay for the year it was released, but of course no, it's a little problem. But still, at the time of its release, it was still quite nice because, as you can see, at least most of the parts got 1 point of rotation. You only got 2 points of rotation at least per arms, a third one on this one, connection here. So well, even if there is still some complaints for 2 days, I think that still it got some nice articulated parts. But could have been a little better, of course, but maybe not at the time when it was first produced. And finally, the design. Well, I think the design is pretty cool. So the the only complaint I might have with the design is the laser gun, which I think is really got a poor design. I think they could have done something really better, a little bulkier here. It's just some parts put together with a little flame. I found it quite ridiculous. Maybe that's just me, but I found they could have done something better. But when I think about it, maybe this is a flamethrower and this is the gas tank. I do not know. I haven't think of that before, but well, even for a flamethrower, I think they could have done a little better. But that may be just me. And except for that, I think the design is pretty great. I like the cockpit. I like really the legs, which really got all the sloped bricks all over the place. Really make it look like a bulky and stuff like that. The asymmetrical aspect of the claw and the flamethrower on this side. So overall, I think it's pretty cool in terms of design. Oh, and yeah, and I think that's all, guys. So overall, I think the set is quite cool. So of course nowadays, if you try to compare it to the Exoforce mecha, it might seem a little old, but still, even if you compare it to the Exoforce designs, I have to admit that this set got a unique design, really a nice one, plus the fact that it can be divided into parts and put in two forms, in two modes, really adds to the playability. And I think that except for the little articulation problem, in terms of playability, this set is quite great, and in terms of design, it's also really a nice one. So overall, I think it's really a great set from the Life on Mars team, with some nice color shade and quite original, at least for its time, in terms of design and articulations and stuff like that. So that was my review on the Recon Mech AP, released in 2001 in the Life on Mars theme. So one of the yeah, no, just forget about that. So yeah, hope you enjoy, guys. Hope you enjoy this video review. Hope you enjoy this set. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask them on the comment section of this page, of course. And of course, I will answer them. And that said, hope you enjoy, and see you later for another video review. Bye bye.